So I am here with Dan Mace from Archipelago Technology. So Dan, you are very new to agriculture, really, aren't you?
Very new indeed, yes. I've worked in industrial inkjet for years and years, decades in fact. And you're probably wondering why on earth what industrial inkjet has to do with agriculture. So industrial inkjet has really come on in the last 20 years. I mean, ceramic tiles is a very good example. In 2008, the financial crisis had happened. Ceramic tiles have been made in a very traditional way. It took a long time to change from one image to another, and almost by surprise, industrial inkjet was used for making ceramic tiles, and this completely revolutionized the tile industry. People went from having to make an image from a master to being able to just print whatever image they wanted with an inkjet printer. And the reason for it was that the inkjet technology had been developed. It had become robust enough that you could use it in an industrial setting, and now almost all ceramic tiles are made by inkjet. And if you get your magnifying glass out on your bathroom tiles, you can see the little dots. So Archipelago was formed to look at what other applications we could use inkjet for, and many people want to use it for things like packaging, where you have to have very small dots because you want beautiful images, and that's an expensive way to go because you have to make heads that are very fine with very small features,
right.
And those are very expensive. And we thought, well, let's go the other way. Let's look at printing a wider range of materials, and let's look at putting larger volumes down. And so we began to talk to people and say, well, if you could print inkjet materials or your materials more easily, what sort of things would you like to do? And we found people wanted to print glue, and they wanted to print paint, and so we developed our technology to do that. And then a colleague of ours was actually out on a bicycle ride with a friend of his who'd worked in the agricultural sector, and they stopped for a rest, and there was a large sprayer, and it turned out that because they had both worked in different parts of agriculture, there was this connection. And so we began to think, well, could you use a very large-scale inkjet technology in agriculture?
And the answer, you've been on quite the journey, haven't you?
It is quite a journey,
verticals.
and there's still quite a long way to go, because agriculture is clearly a field is bigger than a ceramic tile.
Yeah.
And to scale the technology up for agriculture is quite a challenge. But I think the rewards and the benefits that it could bring could be absolutely enormous, because instead of blanket spraying pesticides, herbicides everywhere, one could really target and really use materials efficiently.
So, I mean, there's spraying of crop inputs, as you suggest. Are there any other things like coatings or something like that? Could you see an option there?
Yes, I think so. So there are, I mean, there's obviously the spraying of the fields, but there are other applications. So spraying, for example, animal feeds, applying coatings to animal fields, or
like
other
slow release
agricultural.
In the gut at different times, that kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's roll forward 10 years. So 10 years ago, you weren't even thinking of agriculture. Maybe 3 years ago, you weren't thinking of agriculture. Let's roll forward 10 years as to what you would like to see the future of inkjet technologies and how it's being deployed in the industry.
I think if you look generally at what's happened in other industries, so ceramic tiles, and it's beginning to happen in textiles, it has really meant a much more efficient production process. And if you apply that to agriculture, it would be more efficient use of materials, more efficient use of time. And so in 10 years' time, if we're using far less chemicals in our in agriculture, I think that would be absolutely fantastic.
And what is the vision for Archipelago Technology? You're not entirely agriculture, are you?
No, we're not.
How does the vision for the business play into what we hope and expect will be the future of agriculture?
So we're working in a number of different applications, from coating furniture to coating paper packaging, to enable it to be used as a replacement for plastic. Agriculture, again, is another leap. The scale is much bigger, but that is where I would really like to see the technology go.
So this is a really exciting vision that you've painted for the future. Are there going to be challenges to adoption of your technology? What would be the route to market? How do you envisage that working?
I think there's a number of challenges. First of all, there's the technology development. So there's making something at agricultural scale and that will work reliably in an agricultural environment. That will need input. And for that, we will need the different parts and the right parts of the agricultural sector to come together to work with us in developing this technology.
And I think you've already been talking to some spray technology developers and companies.
Yes,
this is
and it's finding the right combination of people with the right needs and the pockets that are deep enough to fund this sort of thing. I think that'll be one of the challenges.
There we go, call to arms. Fast forward 10 years, we're potentially going to be inkjet printing far more in the field or in any other parts of the supply chain perhaps, and Archipelago Technology is the place to come if you want to know more about it. Dan, thank you so much.
Thank you.